How about an anamorphic lens that's also affordable, is RF mount, and works on the C70? Let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking about the Sirui. That's my understanding of how you're supposed to pronounce it, is Sirui anamorphic 50mm f1.8 lens. Now, it's a full manual lens, and there's plenty of videos out there that talk about, the build quality and all that other stuff. It is a great lens. It's all metal construction. Everything works fine, nice and smooth. But this is RF mount, which is unusual, and it covers the sensor of the C70 or a Super 35 or a APS-C sensor size. Very unusual. The more I use anamorphic, the more I get hooked into that look. So let me show you a little bit more about it. All right, everybody. So we're over here on the C70 with the Sirui 50mm anamorphic at 1.8. And as you can see, we have a squeezed image, which looks kind of unnatural. But what's really nice about the C70 is you can de-squeeze this and all the other good stuff with its built-in tools. So let's go ahead and go into the monitoring setup, submenu 2. And if you notice, it has LCD and HDMI. So let's go ahead and turn these on. And the lens squeeze factor, we know this is a 133. So in this case, we'll use 1.3 times, since that's close enough. And de-squeeze for slow and fast, we're going to leave off because we're not going to be doing slow-mo or high frame rates, 120, 180, etc. So let's go ahead and get out of the menu and see what this looks like. There you go. Now we have a normal de-squeezed image out of the C70, which is easier to do focus peaking and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and pop on focus peaking real quick. And you can see we're dead on with our model there. Dummy Debbie. Turn focus peaking back off. And it's a great image to work with if you want to do focusing or just see what your final product's going to look like and all that other good stuff. And since I have the new firmware version on the C70, we also get a LUT out of the HDMI now, which is very nice. So the other thing I wanted to show you on the C70, when we go into the menu here, let's go over to the first menu and submenu 7. And if you notice, it has digital IS for digital image stabilization. And if you notice at the bottom, it has anamorphic correction. So the C70 with an anamorphic lens can do digital image stabilization correctly with an anamorphic lens. You just have to make sure you put in the lens focal length, which in this case would be 50mm. But since we have a recording on it, I can't change it right now. But I just want to let you know that was there. So let's go ahead and get out of this shot. All right, everybody. So we moved to a bigger space and we have the C70 set up. And hopefully I'm in focus because on the Sirui anamorphic 50mm, I'm at f1.8. So it's a very shallow depth of field. And from this distance, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty well in focus. And of course, what everybody wants to see is the flares. So let's check that out. And as you can tell, this gives some really nice flares. So very cool. And the next thing we're going to do is compare it to this Meike 50mm. Oh, I hope I turned off the flashlight. So we're going to compare it to a spherical lens, which is this Meike full frame 50mm T2.1, which is almost equivalent to an f1.8, give or take a little bit. But this is the closest I had to an f1.8 for a spherical cine lens. Difficult for me to say. So this is what it looks like on the anamorphic. Let's go ahead and throw on the the Meike 50 mil and see what that looks like. So stand by and I'll switch lenses. Thanks. All right, so we switched cameras and now we're back on the Meike 50 millimeter at T2.1. So now you can compare it against a spherical lens. Man, that's hard to say. Spherical lens, there we go. And let's go ahead and do a flare test on the Meike itself. You know, actually the Meike or Meike does really well on the flare test here. You know, not a big loss in contrast and just an overall great lens, especially for the price point. So that's a look at the Meike 50 millimeter at T2.1 against the Sirui Anamorphic f1.8 50 millimeter. So let's go ahead and get out of this. All right, everybody. So I know people are going to ask where I actually got this anamorphic lens, and it comes from MTF Services out of England or Great Britain. They have the 50 mil, the 24, and the 75. I got the 50 because I wanted to try out the 1.33 squeeze and the anamorphic look, which I'm kind of hooked on now. And they're relatively affordable compared to like an Atlas set or a Vazen set, you know, that run 3,000 to 8,000 to 12,000, you know, depending if you get Super 35 or a full frame. So unbelievably expensive. This actually makes it affordable. The one thing to watch out for this though is the close-up focus distance. So if you go to focus close up, the squeeze will actually be more like a 125, a 128 instead of a 133 because of the way the focus mechanism works in the Sirui lenses. And I'll put a link down below to Tefafadden and Anamorphic on a budget. His channel will definitely go into this in greater technical detail if you want all that good stuff. So my apologies if I butchered your name, Tito. But he's a great reference for anamorphic lenses. And the information you saw in the previous clips, which listed the aspect ratio and all that, I actually used his calculator to make sure it was spot on. And it's just makes life easier with anamorphic video and trying to de-squeeze it to the proper ratios. So hopefully you learned a little bit, or at least found this entertaining. I absolutely love the anamorphic look and the anamorphic lenses and the flares and all the good stuff that comes with it, you know, the oval bokeh. So I cannot say enough about this, especially for the price point and it being on the C70. What more could you ask for? So thank you everybody for watching and for listening. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great day or night, everybody. Happy shooting. Thank you.